Ideal client work. No one wants to do it, but everyone needs to do it. But I want to really impress upon you that this is not actually about ideal client work at all, really. The biggest myth we've seen in the online space or just marketing generally is that the ideal client work we need to do is actually defining our ideal client, when actually the work we need to do is to make decisions about who we are, how we want to show up, and then who is the ideal client for us. So today is really about taking a step back and looking at the identity work for you in your business. It's about understanding who you are and why you're doing what you're doing, and how do you want to show up in the world? Like, what do you want to sell in a way that, like, what feels good to you? So when we're getting really clear on who we are, what we sell, how we deliver that thing, and then who is the best fit client for that, it all starts with you. So I want you to really understand the concept of creating a me first business. So a me first business is a business that is built around you and what you want. I know, radical, right? But who you are and what you do and why you're doing it, we forget. So I'm Helen Tudor. I've been in business for a long time. I wrote the book, Ideal Client Attraction, A Spiritual Practice. I have one here to hand, and I will be putting the link in for you to get a copy of this completely free, so you can read it at your leisure. If the next 20 minutes hasn't put you off finding out more about me and more about my work particularly. But the thing I've seen over and over again in all of my years in the online space, and then before that in marketing generally, is this myth that the customer, the client is always right, that we should be showing up and selling and serving our clients, quite often in detriment to who we are and what we want to do and what feels good to us. To just prove this point, as part of this short training I'm going to be doing, is I want you to just take 1 minute. And I want you to take a little breath. Take a little breath with me. I bet you've not taken a deep breath today, have you? Ready? In. And out. As much for me as for you, that. And I want you to just bring to mind your best ever client. Just think about your best ever client you've ever had. And just remember who they were. And whoever came to mind is fine. So just remember who they were, what you did together for sure. But what I really want you to focus in on while we're thinking about them is how they made you feel. And I've done this many times in person, from stage, at workshops and online in my own programs and challenges. They made you feel amazing. Yeah, they made you feel really good. Like the work you were doing was really useful, that you were making a difference, that they really valued you, that the work you do matters, that you matter. And you do matter, and your work does matter, and your ideal client is actually ideal. Your best client is actually the best client. It's not because of the work you do together, but how they make you feel just by being their client. When you get what I call a love match in clients, then it's like, oh my God, I love you, you love me, like I like cheese, you like cheese, oh my God, we just love working together. When you get that energetic, it's this kind of like rare air of connection and feeling really like amazing. It's just amazing to be doing this work together. It feels so good. And this is what I call best client energy. So best client energy then infuses everything you do, the way you show up, the way you sell, the way you post online, the way you send emails, the way you show up when you walk into a room. Suddenly it's like shoulders back, feeling tall, feeling great. They can make you, the best clients can make you feel worth $1 million, even if they've only paid you a few pounds, right? But I also want us to take one tiny second to bring to mind your worst ever client. That person. Right, and I don't want to stay here too long, so I want to keep the vibe nice and high. However, that worst ever client, I know how they made you feel. They made you feel like shit. They made you feel worthless. They made you feel like nothing you could do was good enough. They made you feel like everything was your fault and that you were a no good person for doing the thing that you do. Now, what I want us to come out of that energy, because when we're in that energy, everything we do is infused with that energy. We feel small, we feel sad, we feel like we want to hide, we curl up in a little ball. Physically, we want to not show up, we want to not post. And when we post, we either post from that neggy energy and like, the kind of like angry defensive energy, or, we just send things in, we just say things, send things and operate in that wrong energy, which attracts more of that stuff. But when we're in great client energy, what we can do is infuse our day with that. And that's really what I want. If you take nothing away from today, I want you to actually connect back into yourself and your dream client that you've had already. And just remember that feeling, that energy, and operate your day from that space. Now, you might not have had a client yet. Even if you have, we're going to do the next part of the work together. So we know how we want to feel, right? We can connect into that energy. So we want to attract more of that. We want to bring more of those people or that particular energy into our world. And we'll know it when we see it, and we'll see it when we feel it. It's about how these clients make you feel. We've all been there where we've got clients in our diaries we don't want to speak to. We've got people in our emails we don't want to email back, right? So, you'll have been through this, even if it was in a previous life or a previous business or a previous job. So people matter. The energetic connection matters. It will change your life if you let it, if you set an intention to only attract in dream clients. So how do we do this? I want to give you strategic, practical applications as well as the spiritual, energetic stuff. And I think those two things dovetail together beautifully. So we know how we want to feel. We want to manifest more of that in, and we want to attract more of that in. But how do we do that? So the first thing I would suggest is that you write down all the things that you love about or you would look for in a perfect client for you. And I want you to just choose one offer to do this exercise. So just talk about one of your offers that you love delivering, that you love to sell, that you love to, to talk about, and if you haven't got that, then that is a problem we need to go back and fix. But let's just say you have. Let's talk about your thing, right? So we've got the thing that we want to sell. We know how we want to feel and we know what we want to sell. How do we then create an ideal client avatar, which I know some of you have heard used before, that fits? Now, I want us to look at this potential person that we're going to create, and how I want you to do it is I want you to create it as if they are a character in a film, or if you're not very visual, a character in a book. Yeah, I want you to create this made up person, like they are a character, they don't exist. I don't want you to think about people you already know for this. And I want you to just create and write down and draw out a stick figure person, and we're just going to overlay what would be perfect for us onto them. So we can give them a name. Now, naming your avatar seems silly. And if you get stuck on this, then I invite you to just choose your favorite Spice Girl or favorite person out to take that and just pick a name. But giving them a name is significant because it takes them from an abstract or a category or a type of person into a real person in your head and your heart. Yeah. They're not a real person that you know, but you're going to create them as if they are the next dream person that walks into your life and falls over themselves to work with you. So we're going to draw them as a stick figure, and we're going to give them a name. So we give them a name, and I want you to give them an age. Remember, we're just creating a character. This doesn't mean anything. We're not going to post it anywhere. We're not going to just say we're just working with 46-year-old people called Jerry. Would make no sense, right? But this is a creative exercise that's just for you. Yeah, so draw out a person, give them a name, give them an age. And again, the age is important, but what I want you to think about is what would be the great age for me to work with next? Yeah, not forever, just for now. Why would that be important to me? I quite often choose ideal clients, avatars as the same age as me, because I get to choose. Yeah, you get to choose. So the reason why I pick the same age as me is just because we've got the same cultural references. We've got the same kind of like age stage in life, similar kind of age children on a broad brush stroke, right? It's very broad. But, I've got more in common with somebody who is 46 than 18. Doesn't mean I can't work with young entrepreneurs. I can and I do. It just means it's just an easier connection piece. So pick an age and start to build a life for them. And this is where I want you to have fun with it. There's one thing I want to achieve in my very short life here on earth is to stop people taking it so seriously. Ideal client work. It's just a fun, creative exercise. So give them a name, give them an age, and then start to build them a life. And you get to choose. That's always if you ever get stuck, just think, well, I get to choose. I'm going to choose, not forever, just for now. I'm just going to have fun with it. So let's give them a life. So we can give them a gender, we can give them, or a non-gender, we can give them a partner or a non-partner, we can give them whatever we want because we get to choose. And we're not discriminating or excluding people. We're just having a little bit of fun with like this character that we're going to make. So we're going to give them a name, give them an age, give them a gender, give them an orientation, give them a life at home. So partner, no partner, give them a house to live in. Where do they live? What does it look like? Whereabouts in the world are they? Give them an income. Now, income is pretty significant when we talk about ideal client. And when we're starting to build the life, the income kind of follows. So if we're putting them in London, we're going to give them a four-story townhouse. They're probably earning X amount of money, right? Give them a job, a way that they earn their money. And we're going to give them some hobbies and some things that they do just so we can create the picture in our hearts and minds, not for any other reason. No, it doesn't matter what car they drive, but we just get to choose. So we're going to give them like a 100 grand convertible, or we're going to give them a, 2 grand banger. We're not going to have them a car because of the, whatever, right? It's just a fun exercise. So give them a car, give them a place to live, give them some hobbies. What do they do for fun? What do they do for date night? What do they do, when they've got a day to themselves? Are they spiritual? Are they not? Are they like healthy? Are they not? Are they, are they into fashion? It doesn't really matter. It's just ask yourself loads of questions, because if you think about a character in a book or a film, then you need to know who they are and what they do and what they're about and what their values are, just so you can place them in the context of the story. So the reason why we give our avatar all of this stuff is to give them a context to place them in our story. And then when we've done that and we've created the character, I want us to just create 2 sides, a sad face and a happy face side. And this is, keep it really simple. So on the sad face, I want you to just talk about their problems. Yeah. What's going on for them? What are their problems? What's keeping them up at 4 a.m? Like what are the problems that they've got? Ideally the ones that you can fix, but they might have lots of other problems too. But I just use bullet points when I do this with clients, just a load of bullet points about problems they've got. Then on the other side, on the happy face, I want you to just do the same thing, bullet points about what life will be like after they've worked with you. So not during, but after. Yeah. So what is life going to be like when they've got the thing that they invest with to get from you? It's just bullet points, all the different things, all the ripple effects, like what's changed in how they feel, how they operate, how they move through the world, what's changing them physically, mentally, like psychologically, energetically, what's changed for them financially. There's a huge hailstorm happening. So, of course there is, while I'm recording this. So hopefully you can still hear me. Okay. I'm in my garden office and me and the cat are hiding in here because there's a huge hailstorm just causing quite a significant amount of noise. Anyway, apologies. Please do send me a DM and be like, I've just watched the Helen in a Hailstorm session, wherever you might be watching me. Okay, so we're going to give them the outcomes, yeah? So what's life going to be like after? And I want you to think about things, what I call above the line and below the line. Above the line, practical things that you can see and put your hand on. Below the line, more energetic, spiritual thoughts and feelings that you maybe can't define, but they'll definitely be able to experience. So when we've done that, we've got those 2 sides of like where this character is now and where they're going to be after. I want us to then look at, okay, what is it about your product or service that this specific person loved? Yeah. So in past tense, when they worked with you, what was it that they loved about working with you, about the way you did it, about what you did, about the things that you brought to this experience, right? What is it? Again, just bullet points, right? 5 or 6 bullet points, what they loved about it. If someone was going to ask them, what did they love about it? And then the next bit is, what did they love about you specifically? So what did they, if you were to interview this made up character about, so what did you love about working with them? Yeah, this and this, or with products or service, whatever it was. But what did you love about them specifically? Like the person who delivered the thing, or the person that created the product, or the person that sold them the product, right? What is it about the person that you've really connected on? And that's going to really give you some insight about why people would buy. Then why was now the time for them to buy the thing? Yeah, because we're going to, in this fantasy exercise, they've already done the thing, bought the thing, gone through the process, and they're out the other side. So why was now, or why was then the time for them to take action and buy the thing? And then what was the thing that they did to buy the thing. So what was the kind of the call to action? Did they click a link? Did they go to a free Friday challenge? Did they, just get a call? Did they just meet you out, in person? And then when we've got that, we should have around about 2 sides of A4. And I recommend that you do this exercise. You can stop and start me, obviously, as we go, and you record it using your voice or using, the pen and paper in some way, and then put it into AI in some way, because it's just this really, really great input into AI. So somehow write it down, record it, take a picture, upload it into AI, because this is really forming just one ideal client avatar, just one. Yeah, not the only people you're ever going to work with, but just one. And then when we do that, what you've got then is what I call a blueprint. So you've got your ideal client blueprint. It should be about 2 sides of A4. You can stick it all into AI, or you can just use it. And there's a couple of ways we can use it spiritually and strategically, which I'm just going to cover. So on a spiritual, energetic level, what I want you to do is put your hand on your heart, bring this person to mind. If you're visual, you'll see them. If you're not, just have a sense of them, and just ask them, create a connection between you to them. And even if it feels silly, and ask them, what do you need to feel? What do you need to hear from me to feel safe that I'm the person to help you? Right? So what do you need to hear from me to feel safe that I'm the person to help you? And just see what comes back and be open to it. Yeah, if you're not spiritual, skip this bit. But when you go quiet and when you intentionally connect with your potential future ideal client, then you can build a relationship and ask questions and have conversations that really help to inform your content, the way you show up, the way you write, the way you talk, the way you have conversations with people. And it can be really useful to use. How I do this is I use it every day as what I call a jump off point for creating content. So I'll do that connection piece and then I'll just start writing on Facebook or wherever. Yeah. So that's what you can do as a daily practice. And the second way to use it strategically is to get that document, whether it's in, print it off or write it down, or, it's using AI, is what I call like pin the tail on the donkey method of just going like this and picking one of those things. Could be about, how they're feeling right now, like before you help them, or how they're feeling after, or it could be about why the time, the timing was right for them, or what they loved about you or loved about the thing. Just pick one and use that as a jump off point. Just use your map and just pick one thing at a time. Or you can upload it all into AI and ask AI, say, this is the input of a potential ideal client. I want to create content around this. Yeah. Or I want to give me some ideas for videos I could create for this person, or give me some ideas for content, whatever it might be. But the thing with AI is it's all about the input, right? So this is I want you to do this exercise, pen and paper, you and you. I don't want you to use AI to do the ideal client work at this stage. I want you to do it connecting to yourself. Take that deep breath, take some time to, give 20 minutes to this. Pen and paper, write it all down, and then upload it, or voice note it, and then upload it. So it's going to give you really great input to give you really great output. So this is how I teach ideal client attraction. It's very much about creating a me first business that has clients that are the best fit for you. Yeah. So what this means is we're going to exclude or not want to work with lots of people, and that's okay. You are the prize. You are the most important person in your business. You are the person that people want to work with, because there's only you that can do the thing that you do in the way that you do it. You're very unique. You're very special. People are lucky to work with you. I want you to get into this mindset of there's millions of people out there that have got problems that I can fix, but there's only a select few that actually come into my inner world and work with me on this level or buy my products and service. So you have the discernment, not the client. You get to choose. You get to decide who's a good fit, who's not a good fit. And the more you intentionally put that out into the universe, or to put that out strategically, I don't mind either way, I tend to do both simultaneously, the more the universe or the strategy is going to deliver those dream clients. And the more you can be clear on how those clients make you feel, the more you can operate in that energy, the more you're going to attract those people, and the better your business is going to be. So I've been Helen Tudor. You've been amazing. I cannot wait to hear what you do with this. Please do find me on socials. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn. come and find me, send me a DM, tell me you've watched me, the one with the hailstones. I'll make sure you can get, I'll make sure you've got the link so you can get the book for free. But please let me know how this has landed with you, how it's helped you, and how it's helped your business. I just live for that feedback. Lots of love. Bye.